Начало сезона. Давайте посмотрим.
Vault made a PR-friendly film explaining how Stormfront being a naughty German was a massive shock to all.
You'll always be in my heart, but the Fourth Reich is in my soul.
Homelander watches the premiere feeling numb and resentful. There's an awkward moment where Huey accidentally walks into Homelander, and oh wow, Homelander is a short king? No wonder he's so mad all the time. As the photo shoot ends, a weird guy in the audience keeps calling out for Victoria Newman, but he's calling her by the name Nadia. We'll be seeing him again shortly. For reasons that are never explained, the boys are hunting down a soup called Termite. Termite has the ability to shrink himself down, and he mostly uses this power for deviant acts. The next act is so deviant, I'm not sure how to show it to you. Alright, so what happened is, you've got Termite here, who's represented by this cat with an eye patch, and he went to his boyfriend, and he sees his little, tube snake balloon thing in his pants, and the boyfriend's like, oh hey, I reckon you could fit in there, right? So, Termite goes, yeah, you know what, I fancy getting snug in there. That's a good fit. I need some party powder first, so we're just gonna take a little dab, just to take the edge off. Just a little dab, nothing too crazy, alright? But he's fully flowered up for the party, right? Gonna make some cakes inside this nice little tube here. So what we do is Termite shrinks down. He gets right inside of his little sock here, his little flesh sock. It's a bit tight, but just persevere. Bear with it, right? The payoff is huge. It's going to be worth it. Right, so we've made progress on the. Gonna pull it apart for you so you can see that he's getting right stuck in there, right? And he's tickling inside walls. Oh, this happens all the time. Don't worry. Ow. Okay, so what you want to do is, to make sure he's in there, give it a little cradle. Yep, there's definitely something in there. Right, and then, so what he does, right, so bear in mind, he's fully flowered up at this point in there, right? He's got all this flour in his system, and all of a sudden, he gets the sensation and he needs to sneeze. So what happens is, when he sneezes, he goes full size again, and this happens. Oh no, Mr. Termite, you have expanded within inside my member. So, oh no, please don't explode. Oh no, my blood and also guts are all over the place now. That's a shame. And that's the scene. Hilariously, Butcher catches him in a bag of Charlie and shakes him about to make sure he's fully powdered up, which causes him to OD. Butcher resists the urge to squash him, wanting to play by the rules for once and keep the boys in good standing with the Bureau of Soup Control, which is a big deal for Huey, as he's currently employed at the Bureau, a big step up from being Newman's assistant. Huey's kind of a big deal around the office, as people know him as the guy who's not only dating Starlight, but he helped bring down Stormfront. The weird guy from the crowd rocks up at the office, saying that Victoria Newman's name really is Nadia, and he knows this because they're best friends. Naturally, security thinks this guy is just a nutcase, and so they kick him out. But maybe he was telling the truth. Ryan's living in a safe house, and he's over the moon to see Butcher paying a visit. He's not living worry-free though, because he's afraid that his dad will go scorched earth in the search for his son.
One day, you'll be tough enough, and then he can't hurt you. But till then, you're safe here with the Colonel.
Homelander's pissed that the Deep got the slot before him on a TV interview, which I don't really understand because surely it's better to be the main act, rather than the supporting act who typically comes before. Well anyway, there's two details to take away from this. The first is that Deep explains how, with the help of his girlfriend Cassandra, he's been able to escape the Church of the Collective, which, surprise surprise, was more of a cult than a church. Cassandra seems like a good person for the Deep, but we soon see how crazy controlling she is. The other detail is that we can see how exhausted Homelander's getting, having to explain his situation over and over again.
I'm just a man who fell for the wrong woman, Go for the wrong one.
But out of
Crisis
crisis
comes change.
Crisis,
Out of crisis comes last year, and I am very excited for everyone to meet the real me.
In his eyes, being a soup this powerful should make him exempt from having to explain himself. He's a god, we're puny humans. Stan introduces Vault's new secret formula to Robert Singer, a form of V called Temp V, which, as the name implies, gives people temporary superpowers. He wants to sell Robert on the idea of giving Temp V to soldiers, and warns that it will look badly on him if he passes up this opportunity. But Robert Singer's like, nah, giving anyone this kind of power, even for a day, would be an absolute disaster. And also, why would he do more business with Vault right now, while they're in the middle of a PR nightmare, trying to get rid of their association with the naughty German?
Do you know what the public hears? Gestapo. Swastika. And that's your fault.
Realising that a drastic image change is needed, Stan calls a meeting to announce that Homelander is no longer the sole captain. He's going to be a co-captain with Starlight.
Yeah, but Homelander is captain. I mean, you're captain.
This will be beneficial to you both.
Oh, shit. Butcher receives word that Termite is being let off the hook for exploding that guy into a million bits. And this news frustrates Butcher, feeling that the gentle approach of taking down Soups is holding him back from his life mission. The idea of one day taking down Homelander drifting further away. Huey's feeling insecure that her ex-boyfriend is back on the scene, a soup called Supersonic. They're shooting a reality TV show together, where Vault are heavily marketing the fact that they used to bang. One of the funniest moments by far is Homelander confronting A-Train about his weight gain, even though he doesn't look any different. Delivering this classic line as A-Train tells him it's a Shake Shack milkshake.
I see you got the extra whipped cream in there, huh?
Yeah.
Yummers. Guess you wanted to cram in as much fat as possible, huh?
A-Train curses at him under his breath, almost pushing Homelander off the edge.
What did you say to me?
I'm sorry. Shit. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
Say it. I'm sorry. Say it!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Queen Maeve sees this happening and messages Butcher about meeting up. She reveals company secrets about a soup named Soldier Boy. As far as the public are concerned, Soldier Boy died in the 1980s, but really he's being kept alive in a coma somewhere. The crucial detail within this secret file is that Soldier Boy was taken out by a particular weapon, a weapon that might also be strong enough to take out Homelander. The secret to obtaining this weapon is to find the members of Soldier Boy's old team, called Payback. Maeve also gives Butcher a sample of Temp V, knowing he's going to need every chance possible if he's going to face down Soups.
And what makes you think that me, of all people, would want to turn into one of you?
This is our best chance to kill Homelander.
He goes to pour it down the drain, but then hides it when he hears Homelander landing on his balcony.
You want to watch me have a wank? It'll cost you a tenner.
They have a very strange conversation, where Homelander suggests that Butcher should go back to his ultra-violent roots, so that they can face off in a big way when the time is right. Turns out Stormfront is still alive, being kept in an ICU under the care of Vault. And even though she's powerless now, she can still give Homelander a helping hand adjusting his pants.
There you go. See, they want me weak, castrated. They should be worshiping me. Tremble at my feet.
The episode ends with Huey witnessing Newman meeting her old friend, and we find out they both experienced some childhood trauma in the orphanage where they grew up. Wanting to keep her past a secret, she pops open his skull. Then she calls in a cleanup crew, suggesting that others in the organisation know she's a soup.
Единственный человек в небесах. Хорошая серия.
I love the opening of this one. It's a crappy daytime movie trailer about the Deep struggling to flee from the church, and the movie's called Not Without My Dolphin.
Then you've left me no choice but to run.
Not Without My Dolphin, brought to you by Lean Lady Frozen Dinners by Vought.
It's so stupid, but it makes me giggle. Butcher hallucinates Homelander tormenting him about taking Temp V.
I don't think you're gonna do it. Turn yourself into a soup. And that's a new low, even for you.
And then he sees his dead brother Lenny begging him not to do it.
Rebecca, this would break her heart.
Becca don't care what I do. She's dead.
Huey and Starlight are investigating a kids' home for Supes, called Red River, the same kids' home where Newman grew up. But they need to tread lightly in their investigation because of the whole head-popping stuff. Butcher begs MM to get back on the team, as he's got a shot at revenge against Soldier Boy, the Supe responsible for killing his grandpa. MM says, "No way, bro. I'm not going to obsess on some revenge path like my grandpa did, until you leave the house and it's revealed that yes, I secretly do have an obsession on my revenge path." The next scene forces me to talk about one of the show's weaker aspects, which is their social commentary. It's not always bad. In fact, it's pretty funny and clever at times.
Your teacher should have an authorized firearm.
But man, when the writers drop the ball, they drop it into a puddle of doo-doo. For example, their whole take on the whole woke culture. Queen Maeve's Inclusivity Park has a woke walk. As if the name Inclusivity Park wasn't stupid enough, they have a friggin' woke walk inside. But it gets much worse within this park. Systemically oppressed tacos and intersectional nachos. Are you fucking kidding me? What even is the joke here? The only reason I laugh at this is because of how absurdly on the nose it is. Would it hurt you to exercise some subtlety in your comedy? We're not watching Family Guy here.
And of course, the little drummer, them. Because God forbid we call a boy a boy.
I'm not the kind of person who's offended by dark humour or politically incorrect humour. But you've got to try harder than LGB turkey legs. Alright, that's actually quite funny. But it's the only one that deserves a genuine laugh. Frenchie and Kimiko are here to find a member of Payback called Crimson Countess, played by Laurie Holden, who you might recognise as Andrea from The Walking Dead. Is it just me, or is she kinda bad as a redhead? Crimson makes really cringe songs about crying chimps and stuff.
Gotta sing this song for the real King Kong and show him what these apes are worth. Chimps don't cry.
And upon meeting her, Kimiko is starstruck, but as Frenchie reminds her, they need to get down to business. When she makes a run for it, she accidentally explodes a Homelander mascot in the park.
We gotta go. Come on.
Speaking of attractive Supes, Starlight's being set up to have some model tier level backup dancers, while she puts on a performance for Homelander's televised birthday celebration. But she sees this as nothing more than Homelander trying to make her sexualized, making a play to elevate himself as the real captain, morally lowering her from being a co-captain to Homelander's eye candy. Stan overhears the argument and sides with Starlight, because she has way more followers on social media.
After the PR hole you dug for yourself this past year, I'd say you're lucky we're putting on this farce at all. But hey, it's your party. You can cry if you want to.
Huey's feeling frustrated with his lack of power to help with the boys' big mission. After failing miserably to open a jar, he tips over the edge and decides to go rogue, visiting the Red River home, pretending to be open to adopting a child. I completely missed this detail before, but listen to what this kid's name is.
Teddy's still well. We don't teleport.
Yep, Madeline's baby was a Supe. Some people theorise that Homelander didn't save the baby in the explosion, but rather the baby teleported himself to safety, maybe as like a survival instinct. While browsing their catalogue of available children, well, that sounds way creepier than I wanted it to. Huey sneakily downloads all their records, which sounds even creepier. He discovers that Stan kind of adopted Victoria Newman, and we then cut to him reading a story to her daughter, having a sort of secret family set up. Butcher goes to a pro-gun convention to find a Supe called Gunpowder, and threatens to leak information about an abuse case that Vault tried to cover up, detailing how Gunpowder was an underage victim of Soldier Boy. Butcher says he will keep this information under wraps if Gunpowder helps him to find Soldier Boy, but Gunpowder denies that the abuse ever took place.
Soldier Boy never touched me like that.
But then, when Butcher gets in his car, it's clear that Gunpowder's taken his threat very seriously. Things aren't looking too good for Butcher, as Gunpowder pulls off some neat trick shots. He sets off some car alarms to distract Gunpowder, allowing him to make a getaway. Every year for his birthday, Homelander saves one person publicly, for good PR. But while he's trying to convince this girl not to jump, the billboard behind him shows breaking news of Stormfront committing suicide by biting off her own tongue. He expresses the injustice he feels, seeing a Soup's death celebrated, while he's being encouraged to save the lives of non-Soups like this girl, a comparatively non-worthy human. He commands her to jump off the building.
Oh God, oh God.
No. No God. The only man in the sky is me.
After Huey reveals what he knows to Butcher about Newman, they agree that they need to do whatever it takes to win their war. So when Butcher goes back to intimidate Gunpowder and gets shot down, he gets right back up, because he's freshly juiced up on Temp V. After losing his teeth, he surrenders to Butcher's powers, and he says that Soldier Boy's abuse was never sexual, it was just hazing gone too far. And he reveals that Mallory was involved in the CIA hiding Soldier Boy. Even though he gave up the information, Butcher decides to kill him anyway, because why not? And he gets so enraged that another ability surfaces. Well damn, that's gonna help later on. It's time for Homelander's big celebration, and someone in the crowd heckles him for his connection to Stormfront.
Homelander, your Nazi died!
Did he just say his Nazi died?
Let's go.
Starlight tries to defend him, but he's had enough of pretending.
Come on,
No.
give it up.
No. I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better.
Ashley freaks out, commanding them to cut to commercials, but Homelander insists that the world hears what he has to say, making them understand that being the world's strongest hero means he should be revered and respected by all, not forced to make apologies all the time and do PR stunts.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
У этой серии прозвище «Осьминог».
We see how Starlight's memories of being forced into child pageantry still haunts her to this day. How this shit is legal baffles me. Even though it's an uncomfortable scene to sit through, that is the point in showing it. She still has to think about how wrong this all is, so we should too. Ugh, let's move on. Even though Homelander went off the rails on national TV, Ashley's over the moon to report his social media score is rising up fast, as too is his penis.
That's got nothing to do with you. Just keep going. Not afraid to what?
You're not afraid to be yourself.
The boys arrange to visit Ryan in his new safe house, but Frenchie can't go due to some emergency. Huey insists on taking his place, but he needs Kimiko to break his arm so that Victoria Newman sees that he has a valid excuse for skipping work. Not entirely sure why Huey feels he's needed on this trip, but let's roll with it. It's a fun scene seeing him go to this extreme, just to be a team player.
Right here. Clean break. No permanent damage.
1, 2.
What the shit?
Frenchie's emergency is helping his ex-girlfriend Cherie, as she's on the run from a woman called Nina, because when she was moving drugs for this Nina, the drugs got hijacked, and so now she owes Nina for the drugs and money. Unfortunately, the help she needs from Frenchie is running away together, which isn't something he can commit to, needing to remain home for the boys' mission. When they get to Mallory, she reveals her secret past in a covert operation in bringing drugs into the US. And as MM pushes her to clarify, she means the poor black communities in the US. Yeah, I'm not going to unpack that point. I don't want to start venturing into conspiracy theories. The higher-ups in this drug trafficking decide to bring in Soups in the form of Team Payback, in a measure of protection against rebels. The members of Payback are Crimson Countess, Mindstorm, Swatto, the TNT twins, Black Noir, and most importantly of all, Soldier Boy, played by the legend himself, Jensen Ackles, who you may recognise as Dean Winchester from Supernatural.
Were you racing me? No. I was kicking your ass. Very mature.
Interestingly, we also see a young Stan Edgar, and they cast him extremely well. Not only did they have to get his look correct, but they also managed to get his voice spot on.
Superheroes in the military, of course. for the first time in over 30 years.
Even more interestingly, we see that Black Noir used to speak.
Fuck Mystique. People don't even know it's me under this thing. I gotta wear it just to get a cab.
That is until their camp got blown up by the enemy. Vault are recruiting replacements to be in the Seven. They're pushing for Supersonic, but Starlight is pushing for a woman who she has no personal connection to. And the reason why, which she reveals to Supersonic, is because she doesn't want him being too close to Homelander, just in case he snaps and makes him his next victim. Homelander wants to bring the Deep back, and this is how Starlight reacts to his peace offering.
What makes you think that I want a daily reminder of the guy who f***ing mouth raped me?
She again threatens to expose Homelander for the airplane disaster, but he surprisingly responds with, okay, do it, because if you do, I'm going to go scorched earth. If you take away my public image, I'll have nothing left to lose, which means I'll burn down the entire world.
Well, I think then I'll just wipe New York off the f***ing map. Because why not? See, Starlight, I'd prefer to be loved. I would. But if you take that away from me, being feared is A1 okie doke by me.
Moving away from the serious for a moment, while Deep and Cassandra are making love, he notices an octopus watching from the glass, so he decides to climax while making eye contact with it.
What are you gonna do? Gonna jerk me off with all your arms?
All my arms?
Yeah.
One of the most amusing / disgusting parts of this episode is when Deep is invited to eat dinner with Homelander, and he's prepared a visceral seafood feast, full of slimy shellfish, skin-cracking lobsters, and the main course is his octopus friend Timothy. Deep is very reluctant to tuck in, but Cassandra messages him saying, do it.
I'm so sorry.
Listening to the squelching and the ink sac bursting, it's just so wrong. I don't really know if I have to censor this, because technically speaking, nothing too graphic's really happening. It's just a man eating food. Alright Peter, settle down, I do understand the implication. The episode ends with Homelander getting his way. The Deep is back on the team, and also Supersonic decided to stay. Homelander's final play of manipulation is to suddenly declare that he and Starlight are a couple. #Homelight.
I can't keep it a secret anymore. It's time we let the world know. Starlight and I are in love.